seasoned over 600, 595 Sandown, 600 Meadows. We see it on a week in, week out basis. Does like to use a little bit of the track, but it's got a little bit of speed. It'll get somewhere in the forward half early, and as I said, it uses plenty of the track through the corners, gets a clear unimpeded run, certainly is well seasoned against some of its rivals who are stepping up to this distance range for the first time.
Jason Adams is with Jess Hopkins, who's just always smiling, Patch.
She is always smiling, Mark, and she's got Canyon Nitrate here by her side. And Jess, what's the theory in stepping up in distance?
Look, I think he's looked for it for a long time. He has that flat spot up the back over 500. It's just a matter of getting him fit. He's had a few injury issues, minor, on the time, but it's just always 3 weeks off. And, you know, we've had a nice prep into him now, and 10:40 home last week at Sandown, and yeah, I think he's ready.
You read your race as well. Where do you think he lands early?
Hopefully in front, because Kayla does want to shift up a bit, she said. So I'm hoping we can beat him out. And look, first 600, I'd love him to be out in front and flying along.
Good luck to Jess Hopkins as well, the Kenya All Class, the Australian Cup. Mark Delbridge, seems the right time to step this boy up in distance.
Oh, yeah, well, he indicates he can run 600, but I suppose just time will tell. I suppose, like, he's tardy early. He did run home 11.88 over 500, so indication he'll run 600.
Plenty of indication there for Paul Ike and the Delbridge camp boys as we get set for the third on Australian Cup night.
Yeah, why not from Mark Delbridge? Paul Wright, definitely a chance. Canyon Nitrate is now $1.85 and favourite. 29.71 winner here over the 500. It should translate well to the 600 here, shouldn't it, Nate?
Especially if it can lead. I don't think a middle pin draws a disadvantage. Just has to get the start right first time out of them boxes over this distance range. I've got it on top. Getting in a bit shorter, I said a couple of minutes ago, with a 2 in front of its name certainly appealed to me. Now 185, it's most probably rock bottom odds, but if it can cross, lead and dictate from the front, it's got enough mould in its legs to roll along and win this race. Paul Reich in for second, stepping up in trip. I think that's going to suit. Wouldn't expect it to be in the early battle for the lead, but certainly going to get to the fence. Small field suits. Going to be quite strong late as well. 3 Mahogany is a proven 600 runner of this field. Got a little bit of speed. Does move up the track around the bend, so the outside dogs will need to be in front of it in the early stages. For 4, put in number 6, Poor Octavia. She comes back after a go at the Fana Bale Superstars, where got a little bit tired in the run home. This 600 metre distance range is more to its liking. 4, 5, 3 and 6 on race number 3.
Do not miss out on that Tim Zoo offer. Top 3, $5, max bet at $10. They're getting set. Canyon Nitrate will start favourite and on top for Nathan Rooney. Here's James.
Third race, they're moving in. So runners loading now. And they're set to bounce for Heat 1 of the Grade 5 series at the 600. Stand by for a jump. Often racing now, Canyon Nitrate midfield to begin in a bit of a precarious place early, was checked out of the race back to a distant tail end. So it's Fallon Bale who shoots out to lead from Mahogany, who's close. Poor Octavia leaders back, and then Poor Ike, who tracks up to 4th, past Rhythmic Energy, and Canyon Nitrate checked out of the race early. So Poor Octavia got an inside run now to take the lead over Fallon Bale. Mahogany's just labouring a length and a half away, and then Poor Ike with Rhythmic Energy and tacking on Canyon Nitrate. But it's Poor Octavia, the leader, holding Fallon Bale at bay, and Poor Octavia's going to win. Poor Octavia by a length and a half, downing Fallon Bale, 3rd Poor Ike, who hit the line with a bit of zest, and then Mahogany. They got away to Rhythmic Energy, and Canyon Nitrate was the meat in the sandwich early. Checked out to last, had no luck. 34 and 48 the run.
34-4, Poor Octavia runs, and Mason Kaufman. I mean, she mixes up her distance a little bit. Do you think the 600's best for her?
At this stage, yes. She just doesn't quite get into it early over the 500, but 700 really sees her out. So, yeah, really nice sweet spot.
Good start to the night for the camp. Vincent Bale, his week, put it into words for us.
Couldn't complain.
What do you guys think of the draw? I think it's okay. Is there lack of speed on his inside? What's the opinion of the camp?
Yeah, I think it's almost too good to be true. So everybody seems to be tipping him, putting him on top. We'll see how we go.
Good luck, mate.
Thank you.
Poor Octavia, the winner of race 3, guys. That was Mason Kaufman, of course, representing Team Grenfell, who have Vincent Bale going around in the big one later on.
They do indeed, Patch. Exciting time. Also, Paul Vortex in the Rookie Rebel later on. A nice performance. The time 34.464. It was a scrimmage to that first turn, and the favourite was Bit out the back, Nath.
Yeah, I thought watching it live that the 3 moved straight up the track, but it was actually most probably the 4 that caused it. His first step was down and he bumped into Mahogany, who does use a bit of the track, and then it just got him at the right point that his nose most probably touched the sand, done a bit of a nosedive, and then from there he was his chances were gone. He was way out the back. Just didn't utilise the early speed that it does possess, and sometimes you get that, shows early speed over 500 with the run into the corner, but because you're starting on the corner at this 600 start, you just needed to run in a straight line early, and he just wanted to get down to the fence, and he was his own undoing, and then from there it allowed Fallon Bale to take the lead, and it was at a really big price mark. It was the outside of the field, and it opened
also for the Grenfells.
Yeah, and opened up the race to the kennelmate down the back, poor Octavia, to take the rails run, and she was over 700 as we touched on pre-race, back to the 600, which is her ideal distance. The runs presented, she took it, and then she had that 700 residual fitness under her belt from last week to coast to the line. So 34.48, most probably a good indicator that the track's, spot on. Favourite, as we touched on, just done itself in the first 20 metres. Mahogany's a wide runner. Poor Ike worked home okay. It's just the greyhound that's most probably won bats, wants to be on the fence, and he was honest to the line, but take nothing away from the winner. Poor Octavia, most probably looking for an inside draw in the final to make the most of it.
Jess Hopkins, even after the race, running last, still smiling. She's a superstar, and she's still got another big chance later on, which is probably what's keeping her going after what happened there.
Yeah, well, that's racing, and
it is.
Young greyhounds is only having start number 22. First time over that 600 start. It's very different because you find dogs that don't have a great deal of speed in a straight line over the 500 can go to the 600 and get drawn out by the bend start. And then you find dogs that have got a bit of speed, because it's a different starting point, they can somewhat, that greyhound, you put him out of box 4 over the 500, he'll run in a dead straight line. Tonight, because he's on the bend, he just automatically wanted to come down to the fence on box rise, and he just undone himself. But I think 600's the right trip for him. He just needs to work out the starting point.
I thought he was overs too. Kenya All Class, I speak of, the kennel mate to the favourite that just got beaten there. Currently $7.50 to have fixed odds. Let's just touch on this greyhound while we're down the Jess Hopkins path here for the feature tonight, the Group 1 Australian Cup. Draws well. Probably needs to miss a bit of early pressure, but we know can get the start right. And if finds the front, there's a bit of a scrimmage in behind. Gee, $7.50, Nath. Where did you have Kenya All Class in your selections?
I haven't got him in the top 4. If he finds a front at any stage, they won't be beating him. His last section last week, 11.80, was out of this world. He really rattled home. The slight concern is he's a greyhound who typically wants to go around dog, so he's got box number 2. He needs to hold a spot closer to the fence. A lot of speed drawn through the middle and wider part of the track that'll want to get down. Can he win? He can if the race unfolds right. We know how strong he is at the back end, but I think the first 100 metres is going to be the key to his chances. He needs to position up somewhere, in the first half and not too far off the leaders, and then make the right path. Ideally, I'd say stay on the fence because they're going to hang mid-track here. The fence might present. It's the same sort of run that Zipping Hopkins will most probably looking for